Ladies and gentlemen, it's episode 6 of Teatime with ZBigStu. Today's guest, Matt Wilson. How you doing, Matt?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm sound, mate. I am. Mind, I tell you, I've only just recovered from Sunday running the line for your team.
Oh, well done for keeping up, yeah.
You know, when you're as old as me and as big as me, mate, it really started hurting right up until yesterday.
Yeah, well, I'm still hurting as well. Did you see my goal at least?
I did see your goal, yes, but I also see the ones you missed.
Yeah, there was a few of those. Yeah, fair play.
So Matt primarily is the under-9's mid-Warwickshire League coach.
Yeah.
And obviously you've got your team going there. You play for the Vets as well. And one of your strings of your bow is covering West Bromwich Albion for the Herald.
Oh well, I used to, yes. So I used to cover West Brom for the Express and Star. So up in Wolverhampton. But before that, I was on the Herald as well. Yeah. So my we're going back a few years now. I was a trainee reporter on the Herald.
Yeah.
But my ambition was to become a sports journalist. And then I went and joined the Express and Star, which is a big daily newspaper in Wolverhampton, covers Albion, Villa, Wolves. And I went up there and I covered West Brom for 4 years, and they're my team. So it was like the perfect job, really. It was fantastic.
Oh, absolutely, like myself, being a Swindon Town announcer for 27 years. There you go, Swindon Town through and through.
There you go.
So you're a big Baggies fan as well?
I am, yeah. So my dad's an Albion fan. He's originally from that part of the world, and so I just grew up supporting Albion. Even though I'm originally from the south coast, but Albion are my team. Been a bit of a tricky season this season, but James Morrison, who I've got a lot of time for, has seen us through.
Oh, okay. So you travelled home and away to cover that for the paper, were you?
I was at the time, yeah. So I did 4 years at the Star, and that was home and away. Also pre-season friendlies and camps, and it was fantastic. And you got to know some managers. I was there when Tony Pulis was there. Unfortunately, I saw Alan Pardew as well. That didn't go down too well. Slaven Bilic, which was really fun, and Big Darren Moore, which was a lovely period to cover as well.
Are you still a journo?
No, I'm not. No, so I now work in the town at NFU Mutual, just over the road there. So no, I've gone over to the dark side, as they say.
Oh, you've retired already then?
No. It's very busy over there. They keep me busy, more busy than I used to.
So under 9's, you're in mid Warwickshire League. How's your team been doing?
Yeah, great, thanks. I mean, obviously at that level, it's about two things really.
Yep.
It's about fun and development.
Yep.
So can you develop the boys, and can you ensure that they are enjoying themselves, so they want to come back week on week? And we've got a good coaching team. We think there's 3 of us that do it. Got one guy who's done his UEFA C licence, and we've had a really positive season. I could see loads and loads of progression throughout the team from a lot of the boys. It's our first season at 7-a-side. So last year we played 5-a-side, and 5-a-side's a little bit more chaotic and a little bit more. You win the ball, you've got a chance, which is great. And really, really suitable for young players. Yeah. But at 7-a-side, you have to be a bit clever about how you create chances and how you stop chances. And what's really pleasing to see now is, as we sort of near the end of the season, is how much the boys now understand about different positions, what's required, and they're a lot more disciplined than they were at the start of the season. So yeah, we're really happy.
So how many is in your squad? Is it sort of thing for your under 9 teams then?
So we've got 12 at the moment, so it's 7-a-side, which obviously means you've got 5 subs potentially. You might have 1 or 2 that are missing a game through illness or being away, but you've got 5 subs. So that makes it tricky. But our idea was that we want to give as many boys an opportunity to play as possible. So we do minimum minutes, so every boy gets at least a half of football, and we think it works quite well because we also try and shunt them around the pitch a bit, so we don't pigeonhole them in positions at this age. So give them an opportunity to play midfield, attack, defence, on the wing, or whatever, and give them as many sort of as much exposure to those different positions as possible, so that they can learn how to play with their back to goal. They can learn to play on the wing. They can learn to play bringing it out from the back. It's great. 12 players. If I could, I'd have 20 more because I love it.
So when you were playing a 5-a-side last year and you've gone to 7-a-side this year, are you getting on slightly bigger pitches so you've got a bit more room so that they can express themselves a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. We are playing bigger pitches. It's what's great about it is at the start of the season you see a lot of boys with heads down, trying to do what they do at five-a-side, which is essentially can I beat my man one-on-one and score a goal. And there's a place for that, and it's really important in their development that they do those 1v1s.
Yep.
But on the seven-a-side pitch, you're not going to be able to, even the best player is unable to run through the whole team and score a goal. So you have to lend it to your teammates. Can you share it? Can you get it back? And so they're now starting to realise that. And on that 7v7 pitch, it looks more like a game of football. And that's really pleasing to see.
So when we get players from the first teams coming out for trials out here, and all they want to do is beat every player on the pitch, they're actually playing, and they've regressed, and they're playing under-8s football.
Right, there's a big debate in junior football, and it is about obviously you want your team to pass and move and do all that, but actually for their development at this age, getting them to as many 1v1s as possible. So what we do in training is we normally start off with 1v1s, and then we move to small sided games. So we split the group into two, we do 3v3s, because that gives them as many ball interactions as possible. If you've got 14 players on the pitch and one ball, you're not going to get you're in the game, of course, but you're not going to get as many ball interactions as if you're playing 3v3, are you? So I think it's really important, even at all levels, to do those 1v1s, because that's how you learn and that's how you develop.
Yeah, absolutely. So mid-Warwickshire League, how does that mean the youngsters, they travel about a bit? How far do they go for you playing in mid-Warwickshire League?
I tell you what, it's a bit of a sore subject, I must admit, because last year we played in the Coventry Warwickshire League, and we were up in Rugby and Nuneaton and all sorts of places. That moved to a Sunday, so we went over to the mid-Warwickshire League thinking, great, it'll just be nice local teams around our patch. But all the other teams did the same thing. So we've been everywhere. We've been Rugby, we've been Nuneaton, we went as far as Daventry for one game, and I did notice that they weren't officially in Warwickshire, but anyway, that's by the by. It's all good. What I will say is that the Mid Warwickshire League, they run it, so they try and basically put teams against teams of a similar standard. So we've had a lot of close games this season, which is unusual, I think, for under-9s football. A lot of games won by one goal or draws, which is normally quite unusual. So yes, we've travelled quite a far way, and my parents, if they're watching, will probably admit that we've travelled quite a bit. However, we've had some really close games, which is the best thing for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So under 10s next year, is it the same league? Is it all progressing, or are you looking to go back to Coventry, or what's the plan?
So we're staying at Mid Warwickshire, and we are staying at 7-a-side next year. So the FA have introduced their new sort of future fit, which means that teams are playing smaller sided games for longer. So we'll be 7-a-side again next year. So yeah, we'll stick with the same squad, and we'll stick with the same numbers, and we'll play 7-a-side next year. I'm sure the boys will enjoy that, but we'll stick with our philosophy of trying to give them as much sort of ball interactions as possible in training as well.
So when's your training night? How can people get involved? Are you open for new players coming in?
Well, unfortunately not, because we are full to the brim, and we've got a few in the waiting in the wings as well. We've got 12 lads already for 7-a-side. As I said earlier, if I could take 40 lads on, I would. But the problem is that we just don't have the space. We train on a Friday night down here, and it's a real good environment. What I really like, and what the boys like as well, is normally after a game on a Saturday we all pile into the clubhouse, whether it's here, whether it's away, have a drink, and yeah, they love it.
What makes Stratford Town and their youth setup and their setup generally different from other clubs?
Well, I don't know, because I've only ever volunteered here, but what I will say is that the sort of the passion and the determination of the volunteers and the stuff that you don't see that goes on behind the scenes. So if I think about my little team, which is, there's 3 coaches, and I see the work that the other 2 coaches put in, week out, to get games on, B, to get coaching sessions on, the thought process that goes into each training session from all of them. From all of us is pretty impressive, and it's because it's our hobby and we love it and we want the best for the boys. But then there's lots of other people, around the club, around the Colts, that put a lot of volunteer times, a lot of hours in just to get things going and get things moving, and think about the committee, the amount of hours they put in, whether it's your fixer secretaries or people who are running the pitches, people who are out, sorting out goals, all that sort of stuff, sorting out kit, everything that you don't really realise needs to be done until you kind of step into it and you realise, there's a lot of people volunteering a lot of hours here. So it's probably like that at a lot of grassroots clubs around the country and around the area. But I think the sort of the goodwill of the volunteers is really struck me over the last couple of years.
So you're here on a Friday, you're here on a Saturday. Every other Sunday you're playing vets football as well, which is probably going to get a little bit more intense on Sundays next year with possibly entering into a league and it being more formalised next season. So did your missus ever see you?
Not really, no, but she likes it that way, to be fair.
So it's mine.
Yeah. So she's got her own passions of netball, and both of my kids also swim quite regularly to a good standard. So we're an active family. We're out and about. My lad plays rugby as well. So I think life is for living, so let's get out there and grasp it. So that's how both me and Natalie feel. So that's what we do.
Brilliant, Matt. Pleasure meeting you. Best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much.